You let him or PS, I set you up. Also, if the flare is wrong, sorry. Also, TLDR at end. Edit. The reason I put the sentences that are right below this is because I know myself, it sounds completely insane, and a few people will say it's fake. Trust, there is no one on this earth that wishes it was fake more than me. If I could go back, I would go the neighbors sooner, but my reality is that I caused the death of my mom. I had to mature very early. I became like a surrogate to my sister for those last 3 years. I only wanted him to beat her up, he go to jail, and my mom get help. I never wanted her to die. First, this is a throwaway account, I will not be replying to comments. Take this as you will, this is my story of my revenge against my mother and are pissed. First, our father passed away 4 years before all this started. Car crash, maybe our lives would have been better if he hadn't died that day. Also, before I get into this, one thing you should know is, before this man came into our lives, our mother was amazing. She was loving, supportive, and put us above everything. But she would soon replace us with her new man and her new MTH habit. When I was around 9 and my little sister 7, our mom started dating this man. Let's call him PS. PS was tall and weighed about 250 pounds. He had oily, brown hair and a face filled with sores. I didn't like him from the start. He made me uncomfortable to say the least. A few months after they started dating, PS moved into our house. Everything was okay for the first few weeks, I guess. Then my mom started to act funny. Staying up all night, not cooking us lunch or supper, not cleaning, snapping at us for no reason, and started hitting us. Our lives had been turned upside down by this man so quickly. Then one night he came into my bedroom, held me down and pet me. I was screaming and crying for my mom, begging her to come help me, to come save me please. And then I seen her standing in the door watching him rape me. My mom was just letting him do this to me. She was just watching, like she was looking at a TV or something. When he finished and climbed off of me, he walked up to my mom, kissed her, and walked away with her. My mom just left me, crying and bleeding. I was just our pet and she allowed it to happen. Not long after they walked out, I hear them having time in the living room. It was my 10th birthday. Happy birthday to me. A couple of nights later I hear my little sister crying. I get out the bed to find my mom standing in her doorway. I run to the room to try to help her, and my mom sees me. She backhands me across the face, making me slam against the hallway wall. I can hear my sister crying and begging, with no one coming to help her. That was the day, I started hating my mother. The rape and abuse went on for 3 years. I didn't know at the beginning but soon found out. PS had gotten my mom using MTH. PS and MTH were the only important things in her life. My sister and I were nothing more than his play toys. I soon started noticing them arguing more and more about who got more hits. This one was stashing from the other one, and you smoked the last of it all by yourself. This is when I started planning my revenge. I noticed after about 3 days they would finally pass out and would sleep for almost 2. And their bag of MTH would always be on the bedside table, beside PS. I know most would ask, why didn't you call the police or child welfare? Because jail wasn't enough. He might have pet us, but she betrayed us. She turned her back on us. And I wanted revenge and wanted her to suffer like we had. So every chance I got I would move the bag, just at first. Make it look tampered with. Then I started taking it from the bag and placing some on my mom's table. These things alone cause a lot of fighting. They started getting physical. I would keep my sister and I out of sight when this went on. And they never lasted long. Well, I continued to do this over a couple of months, taking more and more, flushing it, or dropping it down the sink. Until the last day. The last day I took the whole bag. It was a good amount. They had just re-upped, like they would say. I flushed the whole bag. and locked my sister and I in my room, and quietly prayed that they didn't realize it was me. I am not sure how long after I did this that everything started. But we had watched like 3 Disney movies before they finally woke up. And then I heard him start yelling about his missing bag. The yelling got louder and more intense, then I heard the breaking of objects. It was starting to getting bad now. I hear my mom go from angry to scared. I hear him hitting her begging him to stop, swearing she didn't touch it. He continues to hit and she continues to begging him to stop hurting her, begging someone to come help her. Begging like we begged her for so many nights. My sister started asking to leave, she was scared and crying. I opened my window, but my sister outside and followed. We ran to the neighbors and told them that PS was beating our mom. The neighbor called the police and brought us inside. And we watched as the police pulled up to our house. Start to walk up to the door, stopped for a second and then started yelling police, and kicked the door open. After what felt like forever, we see PS being brought out to the police car. I wait to see my mom follow, but she doesn't. I see an ambulance pull up and the paramedics run in the gurney. A short time later I see them rushing back with my mom. I catch a glimpse of her once beautiful face, now looking like ground meat. Her face was solid red, covered in blood. She ended up dying on the way to the hospital. I never planned to have my mother killed. I just wanted her to feel the pain we had been feeling for these last years. And I guess in the end she did. She felt the pain and terror we felt every night for the last 3 years. She just felt it all in one night. Do I feel bad about what I did? No, I don't. If I didn't do what I did, we would have been stuck there, being our pet and beaten every day until one of us would have died. PS was seen convicted of second-degree murder, possession of drug paraphernalia. I flushed the actual drugs, child pornography, pictures of us, and 23 counts of aggravated rape and 17 counts of aggravated rape against a person under 12 years of age. That last one is a death sentence where this all happened. We moved a few states over to be with our dad's parents. We hadn't seen them in almost 4 years, and for the first time in a long time, we actually felt safe. My sister, still to this day, doesn't know what I did. Doesn't know that I played a big part in our mom's death. And since we never talked about either of them, it never comes up. We are both happily married now. I have 3 children, she has 2. Both of us are active members of our PTA. No one looking at us today would ever guess the hell we went through, or what I did to get us out of it.